Hey guys, it's Ari here for SpeedCubeShop.com and welcome back to the SpeedCubeShop Podcast. This is our second episode and I'm joined here by the one and only Kevin Lee, otherwise known as Cubing Encoded. How are we today?
We're doing very, very good. How are you guys doing?
That's great. I'm sure you know who he is from YouTube, obviously, but in case you don't, do you want to just quickly, let's give you 2 sentences to introduce yourself.
Alright, let's see here. I make Rubik's Cube videos, and I've been doing it for a long time now.
Yeah. How long have you been doing it for again? Since
I started, I think, summer before 7th grade, and then so I've been doing it for like 6 years now at this point. It's been a while.
Yeah, for sure. And you're currently in college at the moment, right? Just finished first year, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah. So I just finished my very first semester of my freshman year in college, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Which college are you going to again?
So right now I'm attending UC Berkeley, and I'm also in the High School of Business within UC Berkeley, and so that's just like the business school at Cal. And so yeah, it's in Northern California, and I absolutely love it.
That's great. So you're studying business, right? What does that entail? Because I'm completely unfamiliar with the American schooling system.
All right, so let's see here. Business majors, I would say for me, like the reason why I chose business in the first place at least was because I just wanted to avoid STEM. And then so STEM essentially like, engineering, like sciences, like medicine, these type of things. And so obviously like during high school, it's like I liked those subjects, but it wasn't something that I could see myself doing for a long time. So I decided, what about I just do business because especially with YouTube, I've always really enjoyed just like, starting my own thing, being creative. And I guess like trying to make a living in like a creative way in any way that I can basically. And so that's kind of what a business major entails. Through doing a business major, you could do tons of different things. You could go into marketing, you could go into like, accounting, you could go into finance, you could go into investment banking, you could go into like business consulting. There's so many things that you could do with a business degree. And so I really enjoyed like the versatility of it as well. And so, like, I think one thing about business majors also is that within a college, classes are typically like quite a bit easier. So if you're trying to be like a doctor, for example, while you're in those first 4 years of college, it's going to be very, very difficult. You're going to be like spending your entire day studying and trying to learn like, different like chem terms, these like that. But for business, it's much more, I would say, like real life experience. That's where you get your education from. And so joining clubs, doing internships, getting work experience, these are the type of things that business majors have to kind of carry their education off of. And so that's basically what I prefer for the most part, and so that's what I've been doing essentially.
Right. Been keeping very busy in the past year, I'm sure, with it's first year, right, for your studies?
First semester, so that's like kind of like the first half of a year. Honestly, like, it was relatively busy. I would say that I've been busier before, just because, first semester of college is really like your transition of like getting in, right now it's not like I have like too many like work things I have to do, too many internships, and so in reality it's really not that bad. I know like a lot of my friends are trying to do like different studies, like for example like one of my friends is trying to be a vet and they're having so much more work than me in comparison. So it's really how much you want to put on yourself. Like it depends on how much you want to put on yourself. And so like this semester I kept it a little bit lighter with the classes, but I tried getting a little bit heavier in terms of clubs and like extracurriculars. And then next semester I'm probably going to get a little bit heavier on more extracurriculars and more work experience. So I would say like the most busy I've ever been honestly has been when I was like uploading every single day on YouTube, because at that point
I remember that.
Yeah, oh my gosh, like don't even get me started in that time. It kind of feels like a fever dream low key, because it was like I wake up, I like went to my desk, I started just like writing down like video ideas for like a full hour, and then once I got like some decent ideas, I like tried choosing one that I actually want to do, and then I go to school, and I come back from school, and then I make my video, and then I do homework, and I go to sleep at like 12, and then I just like kind of rinse and repeat. And I was like kind of doing that for like months. It feels like a fever dream, but we're all good now.
Yeah. In that period of time, was there like a favorite video that you produced, especially with that, quite rigid upload schedule of posting daily?
Yeah, so during that, oh my gosh, you see, it's like kind of hard to remember all the videos I made during that time. I can think of like a few different ones though that I feel like kind of stand out to me. Maybe not my favorite, but they kind of stand out. And so one was the like reacting to cubing TikTok videos because I feel like that kind of like branched out like a new type of like cubing content in terms of just like reaction videos in general. I feel like that was something that the cubing community didn't have at all, or at least like was kind of lacking. That I was able to bring in, and then so kind of like just bring in those reaction videos. But then videos I'm really proud of is one that I did. It's called like it's like my Fiverr video where I paid people to like give me like Rubik's Cube tips. I thought that
Oh,
was
I
like
think I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
That was
thought
a
that
good
was like a
one.
class video. And then there's another one called let's see here. Oh my gosh, I like kind of forgot like the type of videos I made. But yeah, I think I did like a lot of decent like a lot of skits as well. And there was like one video called like 10 things that every single cuber hates, and I don't know, like I just like that video a lot. So yeah, but there's a lot of them honestly, and there's like hundreds to choose from, so it's kind of hard to choose like just one. I feel like if I watch each video individually I could remember making it and like what was, and like every single one feels special. It's just that like right now, asking me right now, I don't remember like any of the videos.
Right, right. So, like, I mean, when you were posting daily, and I guess even still when you're producing new videos, how long does it take for that, I guess, inception of like conjuring up that idea and then, your scripting and then filming and editing? How long does that take in general for you, for your
Depends,
workflow?
right? So like if I'm trying to do a more chill like reaction video, it will typically take like maybe like 3, 4, 5 hours, something like that. But then there would be other videos, for example, that would be like the Fiverr video, for example. That one took maybe like 10 hours because it was like spread out across like a week of like trying to find like people to actually coach me, and then filming it and then editing it and then like trying to do more stuff as well. So yeah, it typically around like 3 to 10 hours. Like it really does
Hmm.
depend. I would say the longest I've ever spent on a video was like my 100K special. That one took like 25 hours to make because I had to write like a full like I have like the script next to me. I have the script and like it's like a full 5 page script. Oh my gosh. And then I spent like 2 hours filming it, and then I had to like edit through like 2 hours of raw footage, which took like 10, 20 hours. I don't know. It was quite a bit of work, but I love that video. So yeah, but to answer your question, like videos typically take no less than 3 hours. But it kind of depends on like which one it is.
Yeah, sure. That, what's it called? I remember that when you hit 100K. Didn't you just recently hit 200K, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations on that.
Thank
How does
you.
it feel to have such a huge like audience and people that are just so keen to constantly get to see you produce content and see what you're up to? Like, surely that's a different kind of experience to just being some random person and going about their day without having that sort of influence.
I don't know. I feel like I'm a random person just like walking around. But hey, I think that like when I first started YouTube, I remember like seeing other YouTubers, for example, and feeling like, oh my gosh, like wow, like I like they are kind of like an idol to me, and I in some for some reason I felt like in my head they knew that like they were the guy, like they knew that everyone was like watching them and they knew how much like impact they had. But once you actually like get like bigger and bigger and bigger, and to the point where I am right now, it doesn't really innately register with you that people are actually
Hmm.
watching the videos, right? Like, for me, I'm just like living my everyday life. I'm making videos and then I upload it. And when I see like the view count go up, it just seems like a random number that like is like going up or down. You know what I mean? And then when I see the
Yeah,
subscriber
yeah,
count, it
yeah.
just seems like a random number that it's just slowly going up. If I make more videos, that number goes up quicker. And if I stop uploading, like that number doesn't really grow, right? But it doesn't really feel like a thing that like I know. It's like it's not like I sit here and I'm like, yeah, some kid in like I don't know, like Nevada is like watching my videos on his bed and being like, oh my gosh, keeping coded. I don't know this, right? I only know this through like
Yeah.
comments, but even when I read the comments, it doesn't like innately register with me. So to answer your question, it feels like completely normal. Then again, like my channel isn't even that big in the first place, but like yeah, like you don't like innately feel it, and I feel like that's kind of like a tough thing because then you don't feel like you have like a responsibility, and so like if I'm not uploading, I don't feel like, oh wow, people are waiting for me to upload. I'm just living like my normal day life, and so every now and then I need to remind myself that hey, people are actually watching you, people are actually like enjoying your content, people are actually impacted positively by watching these dumb little videos that you're making, and so you actually got to do them instead of just like taking a month off because you're tired without realizing like the greater impact of doing that.
Mm-mm. Mm.
But when I'm walking around, I don't think about YouTube, right? So, just general like in everyday life in college, I don't really think about YouTube. I don't really talk about YouTube. Everyone knows I do YouTube, but it's not something that like I constantly, just try to like talk about. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah,
just like a
yeah,
side
yeah.
thing at this point, and I feel like when I was doing daily uploads, like YouTube was like my identity, like it was what I like, identified myself with.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now I'm much more like, I feel like I like my just like myself a little bit more, and YouTube's kind of like my part-time job. While in general though, it's just like Kevin, trying to do well in school, make a lot of friends, and like hopefully be successful in the future.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So Kevin, just the regular guy who also just happens to have 200K and happens to, produce content on YouTube, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like it's not good to like, like pride yourself on like, oh yeah, 200K. Instead, it's more so just like, because everyone has like their special thing. Everyone has like cool accomplishments. And so, this is just like my little accomplishment. Like this is just like my
Mm-mm.
cool thing. I'm sure that you have some amazing accomplishments. I'm sure that, the person who is just sitting like 10 feet away from me has some amazing things going for them as well. Everyone has like their own identity, right? And their own accomplishments and their own work that they're proud of. So yeah, this is like my thing. Doesn't make me different, doesn't make me like any better, any worse than anyone else. It's just kind of a thing I do and something that I happen to be good at. But everyone's good at something, so that's what I believe.
Mm-mm. I think though it's just a testament to the amount of like, what, as you say, that a video takes a minimum of 3 hours or how many hours up to X amount of hours to produce, and like that's just over time you've put in the hard work and you've reaped the rewards of now having such a solid following and being quite the prolific creator within the cubing space, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, yeah, it's just like within the queuing space, I feel like I was able to, do like most things I set out to do and like reach most of my goals, and it's quite nice. It was quite a bit of work, like, I mean, yeah, of course it's going to be like a lot of work, like, like just like built up towards this one thing. But also the other thing is that like I love doing YouTube. Like I love making videos. I love just like talking to a camera. It's fun for me. And so it's not like it's a thing I have to do, right? It's not like it's a thing that like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, I was like in the trenches, like, digging up rubble, like, working super hard. I was like in my bedroom talking to a camera, editing on my laptop, having a lot of fun with it, and then uploading it to YouTube and having fun with it, right? So I don't really like pride myself on like work on like the crazy hard work I think, because in reality it's something I loved and I just had fun with it.
Yeah, there's that. What was it? That saying where you find a job that you love and you never work another day in your life or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really do think that's pretty valid. Now that being said, obviously, even though I loved YouTube, there were some points where like it did feel like work, and like it's always going to be
Mm.
up and down. Like no matter how much you love something, eventually you're going to get like a little bit burnt out, a little bit tired of it. And then so like every single time that you see like me take like a month off of YouTube or something like that, it's because like bro, I'm just like like YouTube is just like a little bit too much for me, and I just need to want to focus on other things. But of
Yeah,
course,
same.
like the actual act of like doing a video is really really enjoyable for me.
Do you like the filming stage or the editing stage more, or is this kind of equal for you? Or
Definitely editing.
yeah.
Filming, the problem with me is that like when I speak, I do stutter and like mess up quite a bit. So versus editing, like editing feels like I'm playing a video game. Like if I'm like we're like just in a comfortable chair with like my laptop in front of me,
In
put
the
on my
zone,
headphones, start
right?
editing. I know, like it feels like time goes by super super quickly. Like that's like my flow state, where I'm just like editing and like I'm completely locked in. I remember like my friend, for example, like he would be like studying super super late, and then so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay up with you, and like like we're gonna go to sleep together like at the same time, and like because I just felt lazy if he was like studying up super late and I was just like going to sleep at like 12 or whatever, and so like yeah, from like 12 to 4 like he was studying, and then I just started editing a video, and by the time that he was done, it felt like that time just like went by so quickly, and I was like, oh shoot, we're trying to go to sleep. All right, fair enough. So yeah, like when I'm editing, time just like goes by super super quickly. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, 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 I definitely experience that whenever I'm editing stuff. It's just you sit down at the computer, as long as you've got you set up and you're as long as it's frictionless, you can just continue to edit and just I remember I was editing something and it was like 12 o'clock, and then by the time I had like looked at the clock again, it was already like 6 p.m. It's just insane.
It happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Um uh like on YouTube, have you like because you're at college now, have you like had any funny fan experiences or anything?
Ooh, okay, all right. So, I mean, like before college, like it happened every now and then. Like I'd be at a swim meet, for example, and then like there would be someone who like just like go up to me and say like, "Oh yeah, do you make YouTube videos by the way?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I do." And like he says like, "Bro, I play with Rubik's cubes. I watch your videos every now and then." It's quite a cool experience. In college though, it happens like oh my gosh, it happens a few times now. I think maybe 5 or 6 times now. The weirdest one though was like I was just like in the bus with my girlfriend, and then like we were just like kind of chilling, just like sitting down chilling, and then all of a sudden like this guy he was about to leave the bus, but then before he leaves, he like gets up and then he looks at me, and then he says. Yo, dude, are you cubing encoded? Which is like the weirdest thing ever because normally when people like go to me and talk to me, they call me Kevin.
Yeah.
And then so this time they called me like cubing encoded, and like when I'm in like a college environment, like a college setting where I'm just like going to class, like I kind of forget about the whole cubing coded thing. I'm just like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
Kevin, whatever. And then so all of a sudden, like he just like said like cubing coded, and like it was like I was like shell shocked for a little bit. I was like, wait, what's going on right now? Oh shoot. Yeah, but that was like an interesting experience. Definitely like the most interesting experience with a fan so far in college. Yeah, but like there's like other ones like here and there. For example, like the other day, or not the other day, but like a month ago or so, I was just in the elevator. Someone walked in and said, "Is your name Kevin?" I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he said like, "Yo, do you make YouTube videos?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." So even though the channel's like pretty small, it does happen every now and then.
And I guess maybe something that would have contributed to that is like you're in kind of that same age where everybody is cubing when you were making and when you are making these current videos, right? Whereas I don't know, someone like PewDiePie or something, he's like so much older in comparison to what his target demographic is that when you were going to, schooling and then now college and whatnot, that same age group that you've been speaking to via YouTube is now going to the same, colleges and stuff that you are now going to, right? So there's that
Yeah,
overlap there
exactly.
that I guess a lot of other YouTubers don't necessarily have, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like when I was like doing YouTube videos and everything, a lot of people that watch my videos, maybe a couple years younger, but like roughly the same age. And then so a lot of people who like do recognize me in college, like they grew up watching my videos, which is funny because like they're the same age as me. Like when they're like 13, 14, they were like watching cubing videos and watching cubing coded videos, and like around that time was when like channels started getting a little bit more popular as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of coincides, and I get to meet some people saying, "Hey, what's up? Are you cubing coded?" every now and then. It's quite weird. But I love it every single time. Like it's a cool experience every single time. And remember how like I said like how before like YouTube doesn't really innately like register with you and how and that like people are actually watching the videos. But then like when I see people in person and they recognize me, that like reminds me that the videos actually are going somewhere and they actually are being watched by someone out there.
Yeah, because it's like kind of just like a number on the screen, but when you have that actual human to human interaction, right? That like
Yeah,
solidifies that
exactly.
people are watching you, and it's not just numbers going up that are on your YouTube Studio analytics, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. I had this funny, I think, the experience at Worlds. I have like a hundredth of the following that you have, but I thought this was pretty funny. Where I was sitting in the stands with a couple friends. We were watching the finals for 3x3, or like it was getting up to finals, and we were like at the top level. And then I get this message on like Instagram DMs. I'm like, oh, I see you. I'm like, huh? Who's
Oh no way.
I'm like, you see me? What does that mean? And then turns out there's like this guy sitting all the way like over the far side of like the top level stand is just like, oh hi. I'm like, okay, that's hello. I'm obviously trying to be nice and stuff, but like he didn't come approach me first. I just got a message. I'm like, yeah, I see you. I'm like, yo, who
Hey,
are you?
that's how like an introvert. That's how an introvert does it. You know what I mean? If you see them, don't go up to them. Just like text them, and then like just make them wave to you.
I think yeah, that so certainly interesting experiences that type of thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's a weird dynamic. Like I feel like, what like it's just like yeah, one person completely knows who you are, like knows a lot about who you are. But then on my side, like I've never met this person before, but I would love to meet you, and love to talk to you. And so it's just kind of like a weird dynamic where it's like one person, like which is me, like trying to like get to know a new person while the other person already knows me.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any like future plans for what you want to do with the channel, like content wise? Or there was that recent interview with Colin Burns. I thought that was really really great, actually. and that vlog as well. I really enjoyed the vlog. And more future plans for the channel?
Yeah, so right now I feel like, before like my channel was like all I did, like it was like my biggest commitment during high school. Like, throughout high school I didn't even care that much about school. I cared more about YouTube than grades during high school. But then, as I get older, as I go to college, like, these type of things start to subside. And like now, like, when it comes to like my academics and like my future career and like just like, yeah, like my future living, that's kind of like what my biggest focus is right now. And so at the moment, like I'm currently pursuing a career in like business consulting, which is like, something that I've found a recent interest in, but I've started to absolutely love it. And so, just trying to get myself into that field, through doing clubs, like, doing a little consulting firm within my school, as well as, doing internships within the field. I feel like that's like my biggest focus at the moment. And YouTube is kind of like my side project that it's like my I don't know how to describe it, but like YouTube is going to always forever like be my baby, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
YouTube is always going to be something that I have a body of work in that I always have there with for me, that I do still plan on keep on uploading. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to just completely like leave YouTube, but like in terms of like seriousness towards the channel, until like I actually find a job or whatever, like in the future, like for the next few years I don't really see myself going to you know the commitment that I had before with the channel. But right now it's more so just like chill. When I want to upload a video, I will upload a video. But if I'm being completely honest, like right now, like my main focus is like, schooling, trying to, set myself up for the future, live a good life, also like, have fun in college, like, just like live the
Of
college life
course.
as well.
Yeah.
Meet new friends, these type of things that have really just taken precedence over YouTube. And I feel like it's just like me growing up, honestly. Like I feel like that happens with most cubers as well in general. Like their entire childhood is just like covered with cubing, but then as they get older, they realize, oh shoot, I gotta start doing some other things as well. And so that's kind of like what I'm doing right now. At the moment, kind of just getting used to, or just trying to invest my time towards things that are going to be more valuable towards my future, or like the most valuable. But YouTube is always going to be my baby.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And like, I'm sure that maybe in a couple of years' time there'll be people like, because I grew up like watching yourself and like other people like JR Cuber and that type of thing when he was posting. Is like it'll be like nostalgic to go back and watch these types of videos, which is really it's really weird, right? Because it feels so recent when a new cube came out. Oh, a new cubing encoded video on that cube just came out. I'm gonna go watch it, and in a couple of years' time, that video is gonna be kind of a nostalgia piece. It's gonna be relatively old, right?
Exactly, right? Like, I don't know, like when I made the video, it just like, it was more in the moment, but now looking back at those videos, it's like I have an archive of like
Yeah,
my entire childhood basically. Like I basically get to see myself grow up through YouTube, and not just like grow up in terms of like, physical like, growth, but like, in terms of confidence. Like I remember when I made my first video, I was like so like insecure and like so like I guess like nervous, like so like quiet and everything. And then like as I continue on and like as the years go by, you see myself just getting more and more confident in myself and my ability. You also get to see just me get like more articulate, or like more like I don't know. I feel like there's like just so much growth that you see throughout the channel. I get more professional. I get like more driven. I get more motivated. I just like feel like I know what I'm doing so much more versus like right now versus how it was like back
mm.
then. And it's been like an amazing experience being able to like capture just like my teenage growth, like my freaking like my years through puberty, basically.
Yeah. And like I guess alongside that, you learn like very real world. I mean, virtual, but real world like applicable skills in both the sense of like producing a video, editing it, etc. And then alongside that, like the organizational skills that you kind of gain from running a YouTube channel or social media accounts and that type of thing, where you have to make sure you got all your ducks in order and you can upload it with confidence, that type of thing as well. I'm sure that's like you could probably bring
Oh
social
yeah.
media skills to like other things that you're doing now.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, I know that like YouTube has given me so many like just like skills that I didn't even think that were going to like help me so much. But like now going into like my career, I know for a fact are going to help me so
Mm.
much. Like for example, like, last semester I was in a consulting firm, which is like a consulting like business consulting is essentially like you're a business doctor, and like your patients, aka other companies, go to you and like ask you for
Yeah.
advice, and like you give them like like you look through the data, analyze it, and then you give them like your findings and your final recommendations, right? And then so for me, I was doing a client called like Decathlon, and when we did like our final call, first off, like just public speaking in general, if I'm like presenting to a company and I can prepare, I could basically just bring out like my Cuban coded voice and then like have like a pretty solid presentation. On top of that, like graphic design, when you're doing these type of presentations, a lot of it comes down to graphic design. I have like a huge background in graphic design now. And then also just like when within the company, like we were kind of like talking about like social media marketing as well as influencer marketing, and that was very very helpful
Yeah.
because I've done influencer marketing. I've worked with some of the biggest companies that do influencer marketing, and so I had a lot more credibility when it came to like my recommendations, and like even getting into like the consulting firm that I'm in the first place, it is like pretty competitive, especially for freshmen to get into within UC Berkeley. Like within UC Berkeley, like UC Berkeley is already like kind of like a difficult school to get into in the first place. But then like even within the student population, the people that apply, there's like a 2% acceptance rate, and then so I feel like YouTube just really makes me like stand out in terms of like how prepared I could be in terms of like the workforce of like how much I can contribute. So yeah, I don't know. Like YouTube, the skills I get through YouTube aren't just applicable towards YouTube. It's applicable towards literally every other thing in life. So it's quite nice.
Yeah, for sure. And like again, those skills that you develop, it's very unique. Like I'm sure when you applied to college and stuff, they probably could count on their like the people who were accepting or like evaluating the applications probably could count on the fingers how many YouTubers they had applied to UC Berkeley. They probably didn't have that many, I assume, right? Have you met other YouTubers?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like
Met a
at
couple,
the
but
college?
like most of them are around like a few. Yeah, but most of them are around like a few thousand subscribers. Yeah, just around like that type of thing. Like I feel like yeah, with college jobs in particular, YouTube taught me so much because especially because I was applying to business, I do get like a lot of like business opportunities through YouTube. For example, doing sponsorships, doing seminars, doing like just like the concrete skills that I do learn, doing my own merch, doing like my own custom cube through SpeedCubeShop. These are all things that are business experiences that a lot of high schoolers can't really get access to. And then so when I was doing my college jobs, I just like basically like spit all that out onto the paper, and it worked really really well.
Yeah, it's definitely something that like a factor that not many people would have because who else can say that? Oh yeah, I've built up a solid following. I've what's it called? Done like business essentially with these big companies, right? Where you've gotten your own products. Like we had that Creator Cube that what was the cube again? That was the Worm 2020 or something like that, right? Recently, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still like cubing when you have some free time or?
Honestly, I'm queuing more than I ever have ever.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh my god. Let's see. On CS Timer right now, I literally have like an average of 1,000 for 6x6, and this was all in like the last month. Like with cubing, I just like it's kind of crazy because yeah, like within college, like as I said, I have free time, and then so like when I have that free time, I'm just gonna sit down and cube. And so yeah, like honestly, like I cube just as much as I did before, and I absolutely love it. There's actually a competition for me coming up in about a month or so, and so they have 7x7, and then so I just like took out my 7x7, and now I've just been doing a ton of solves. I literally do like 1 to 2 hours of 7x7 every single day. Yeah, like even though I might not be uploading as much as I did before, I'm still cubing so much. Like cubing is still a huge part of my life, because it's just something fun to do when I have nothing else to do, and it's not like a burden for me. Like oh gosh, I have to like practice. I have to learn new algorithms. I don't. It's not like that. It's really just something I get to do when I'm just like watching YouTube and I get to sit down, watch YouTube, play with the Rubik's Cube. It's very very fun. So, yeah, just kind of a pastime, and I still cube so much.
Yeah, it's a great way to like I think either kill time or just like wind down after like a hectic day. You just sit down and chuck. For me, it was cubing encoded that before. I would chuck onto YouTube. I'd be watching him while I'm solving, and now it's come full circle. It's great. But yeah, will we see a vlog for that competition? Should we?
I'll try. Like vlogging is so tough because like sometimes like you just feel like you're not getting the good footage, and then like you just like want to scrap the entire vlog. But yes, I will vlog it, and I could be like 99% sure that I will make a video for the competition. Okay. Unless like my freaking like SD card runs out or like just something catastrophic happens.
Do you have any? I've got 2 competitions like next weekend. As of filming this, I'm planning on vlogging. Got any tips?
Oof. Okay, just try recording as much footage as possible because like, the worst thing that could possibly happen, like, the worst thing that probably possibly happens is just undercoverage, just like not having enough footage for the competition. So just film as much as possible. Also, when you're talking to the camera, don't just be like, oh yeah, now I'm gonna do 3x3. Oh, now I'm gonna do this. Now I'm eating lunch. Like people could, when you're doing stuff, just show it. And then for the speaking, just have like just different things that you want to talk about in your head. For example, like before 3x3, for example, you could be like, oh yeah, generally like you could talk about competition nerves. Before like eating lunch, you could talk about just like, I don't know, anything in general. Like, I feel like when you're talking to a camera to the vlog, you're not trying to say what you're trying to do. You're more so just talking about stuff in general that like might be entertaining, and then the whole like, what you're actually doing, that's all like shown on the frame.
I think I was watching a Casey Neistat video on how he makes his vlogs. This is quite an old video, but I think he puts it pretty well. I won't say the expletives, but why would someone else care? You have to make them care about like your own problems, right? Because they have, like, as a viewer, I have my own problems, but somehow these people on YouTube can convey such a story and everything that they make me care about their problems despite me having my own things to deal with already. It's such a powerful skill, and I guess that's something you kind of develop through practice and whatnot, and especially in those vlogs, and you can create that story arc and that type of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to make people care about you. You have to make a story, and vlogging, it's like a lot harder than it looks, and it takes practice. Which is why for this one vlog that I'm doing in a couple of weeks, it's like I haven't really practiced that much vlogging. Like I probably made maybe 10 vlogs in total in my life, so it's gonna be like it's still very new, and I haven't vlogged in a while. So yeah, always very new, but I think I'll pull it off. Okay.
Right. I think this is a perfect time to just announce that we're doing like a special code at some point during the podcast. We did one last week, and now we're gonna do another one this week. I've got it set up with Cameron. The code is podcast encoded, and for the first couple people that use that code on SpeedCubeShop, they'll get something extra added onto whatever order they want to do. So yeah, that's the code, podcast encoded. Don't tell people in the comments, but that's the code.
I see. Driving up that retention time. Very smart. Very smart.
Got to pull all the stops. Gotta get that full viewer retention. I guess finally, so your future plans, like career-wise, you're going into business. Are you gonna, what's it called? So you're gonna like post continually when you're, I guess, working or something, or what do you have any idea what you're gonna do with YouTube in that regard?
Yeah, I feel so bad because I don't really have like a concrete plan with the channel. It's just like, what? I'm always going to have YouTube. I'm always going to have like, things to post. Whether I want to make another queuing video, I'm always going to have YouTube in my back pocket. Right now, like my main focus, like, 80% of my mind is focused towards like, college life, friends, and then like, getting into a good, it's like my just future career, my future living. And then afterwards, it's like YouTube, and YouTube's kind of just like a little hobby I have on the side that I can do whenever I want to. And it's quite like a privilege being able to have that, escape every now and then. Honestly, like when I start working, I'm probably going to like upload a little bit more because like I'll be working, and then like what am I going to do in my free time? I can make videos as well, because now it's like this is real life. So but honestly, I really don't know. I just kind of just doing YouTube for fun right now, and just like doing it whenever I have time. But for the most part, yeah, focus is on future career and like doing well, being successful, and also just having fun with friends.
Well, I'm sure we're gonna be ready and waiting for whatever you have in store for us next. I think
100%.
I think we'll wrap it up there, folks. Thanks for listening or watching all the way through. If you're not already subscribed or following Kevin here, you can find his links in the description, and you can use that code from earlier in the video at speedcubeshop.com. Huge thanks to Kevin for coming onto the podcast today. Any final words?
Yeah, everyone watching right now, make sure you support this podcast, because honestly, we need more queuing podcasts. Like, queuing podcasts aren't really a thing, so yes, I want to see more queuing podcasts like this. You're free to invite me on anytime. Like, literally, I have time, so just invite me on anytime you need just a guest for a podcast. I will be down. Yeah, just thank you so much for having me on, everyone. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys very soon.
All right, we appreciate it so much. Thank you very much, Kevin. See ya.